Frances Condell made history in two ways. Firstly, by becoming the first female mayor of Limerick, and secondly, by arranging the first ever American presidential visit to the city. Condell was born Frances Eads on Sexton Street in 1916. She married Robert Condell. Before she became politically active, Condell was a founding member of the Irish Red Cross. She also worked as a welfare officer, helping to settle immigrant families into the Shannon region. In 1960, she was voted onto the Limerick County Council and served for 7 years. Throughout her time on the council, she directed attention to the poor state of housing in the city, which at the time was in bad condition. In 1962, representing the Ratepayers Association, Condell was voted Mayor of Limerick. This was an extraordinary achievement, not only because she was a woman, but also because she had no major political party to support her. Ireland during the 1960s was still dominated by the Catholic Church. The feminist movement, which was sweeping across continental Europe, would not arrive here until the 70s. Women were expected to give up their jobs when they got married, and devote the rest of their lives to raising their children and housekeeping. This repressive atmosphere makes Condell's victory even more notable. Condell's best-known achievement as mayor was her organisation of the American presidential visit. However, it very nearly didn't happen.
At the time, Limerick's traditional industries were struggling due to the recent switch from protectionist economic policies to free trade. Condell decided that the city needed a lift. She heard that John Fitzgerald Kennedy would be visiting Ireland. As Kennedy's maternal ancestors had been members of the Limerick Fitzgerald family, she became determined to bring him to Limerick City as part of his tour. Condell contacted Washington, only to be told that the president's tour did not have time for a stop in Limerick. Undeterred, she continued to write and ring the American ambassador to Ireland, Matthew McCluskey Jr. At midnight on the 22nd of June 1963, McCluskey phoned Condell to impart the news. "You've got your wish. Now will you get off my back?" The visit would only last for 20 minutes, but would need lots of preparation. The city only had a week to get ready. Green Park Racecourse was selected as the venue, and builders were immediately put to task on constructing a platform. The department store Canucks, which no longer exists, provided the decorations. The preparations were so rushed that the flowers had to be sent down from Cork, where the president was visiting prior to coming to Limerick. On the 29th of June 1963, John Fitzgerald Kennedy became the first American president to visit Limerick. Although the visit only lasted for 20 minutes, it would leave a lasting impression on the city and its inhabitants. The president was presented with gifts such as Waterford crystal, a Limerick lace christening gown, and a puppy named Shannon. Mayor Condell made a speech. She was the only woman to speak in an official capacity during the whole European tour. President Kennedy later described the speech as the best he had heard during the trip. Before his departure at Shannon Airport, he thanked those present for their many gifts, but also for the warmest memories of you and your country. The presidential visit had a number of positive effects on the country. It showcased Ireland on the national stage and proved its legitimacy as an independent state. It also improved Irish-American relations. The Irish-American Foundation was established soon afterwards to support education and the arts. During the 1960s, the number of tourists coming to Ireland increased from 69,000 to 258,000, and Irish trade figures quintupled. Finally, on a local level, Frances Condell was elected to a second term as mayor, in part due to her achievement in bringing Kennedy to Limerick.
The rest of the decade brought many challenges for Limerick. Despite the spike in trade, the city's native industries declined due to the change to the free trade policy. The factories, which had flourished under protectionism, could not compete with products brought in from abroad, and one by one they closed, leaving hundreds of people unemployed. But on that June day in 1963, Limerick could feel only pride in what its mayor had achieved. Condell would go on to welcome other dignitaries to Limerick, including Lady Bird Johnson, Senator Edward Kennedy, and Cardinal Brown. She retired from politics in 1967 due to health problems, but she did not withdraw from civic life in Limerick. She left a rich and significant legacy in the world of literature and journalism. Condell frequently contributed to the Limerick Echo, Woman's Way, the Church of Ireland Gazette, and the Irish Independent, writing both articles and poems. Her topics included current affairs, consumerism, fashion, health, social welfare issues, and local elections. She wrote poetry all throughout her adult life, some under pseudonyms. Condell's morality paved the way for other female mayors in Limerick, such as Terry Kelly in 1983 and 84, and Jan O'Sullivan in 1993 and 94. Condell set a precedent in becoming mayor, proving by example that women could overcome the odds and become the first mayor of Limerick, even in a time when they were often restricted to the domestic sphere. The 1960s were a time of great change for Limerick. The old traditions, such as pig-keeping and lace-making, were dying out, and the city's native industries were struggling to stay afloat under new trade policies. The new social housing estates would go on to exacerbate the problems caused by unemployment and poverty, becoming a breeding ground for crime. But before the upheavals that were to come, the city enjoyed 20 minutes of unity and pride in itself on the day of John F. Kennedy's presidential visit. The visit had not been originally part of the president's schedule, and Ambassador Matthew McCloskey had initially refused to let it go ahead. However, thanks to Limerick's already notable first female mayor, the city had the honour of receiving the American president for the first time in its history. After her death, Condell faded into obscurity. However, the presidential visit, which she had worked so hard to arrange, remains a high point in Limerick's history. Limerick's first female mayor served her city well and does not deserve to be forgotten.